Bullshit. That's fucking crap. That's not what I fucking... No, that doesn't line up with my fucking
Doesn't
beliefs.
line up with my beliefs.
Doesn't fucking line up with my fucking beliefs. Fuck off, man. This is a joke. We have the most information we've ever fucking had.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies, where we are in the area code of 816. It's about as close as I'm going to tell you where we live.
What's the zip, man?
Zip? I'm not going zip, man. I'm not going zip.
Good call. We don't want to get...
Just going to rattle off Paul's address.
We're trying to get raided right now.
Nah, play. But anyways, here we are in the middle of June, late June, almost coming to the 4th of July, which is very good.
Man, that's coming up quick.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you know what's crazy? So technically it will be on a Wednesday because of the date that falls, but next Sunday will be a year anniversary from whenever I broke the fuck out of my ankle.
That's
coming
wild.
back from a podcast, man.
Yeah, children's Benny.
Time flies, man. That was blowing my mind. I was thinking about that the other day. It'll literally be a year from next Sunday, whenever I broke my shit.
And I'm sure that, honest to God, after your surgery, when you were about 2 weeks in and just stuck in bed and all that, you were probably like, wow, this is my life now. This will never end.
Yeah, basically. I was reluctant that you allowed me your DS, and I got to... Man, why do I always call it a DS? The Switch.
Yeah,
Reluctant
was also the wrong word.
Isn't that weird how time works that way? Whenever you're in a position like that, and it's just so slow, and you're like, oh my god, this is gonna take forever to heal. I'm not working. I've blown through all this money because you paid outright for the surgery.
Yes.
I mean, that's just a lot of stuff going on in your head, and it's just slow motion, in my opinion. Like, it's like going on a car trip to California or to Utah. An 18-hour drive seems like a day. For me,
that's about a day. I mean, that's about a day.
That's a day.
No,
Not
I mean,
too far off of a day.
17 hours to Utah, but
I mean, that's a day because most of the time you're sleeping at least 8 hours.
okay. So what I meant to say,
like
2 days. It
dude,
feels like
it's
2
crazy.
days.
Have you ever spent
everything you're saying?
Have you ever spent 24 hours doing something and you're like, man, I feel like I was doing that all day long?
That's what I just said.
Do you know that every 60 seconds in Africa a minute passes?
Yeah.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It feels 2 days. If you're in the car when you're in the car and you're on a long drive, man, it just feels like forever. I told myself today, I was like, man, if I ever go on another road trip, I'm going to embrace it. That way it doesn't seem like it's taking forever.
No, it's like when you're at a football game. It's the quickest, few hours of your life. That's to where if you're at a family reunion, that's the longest 30 minutes.
Goddamn fucking meeting family is just awful. Sorry.
Initially. But then once you get to know them, they're just like regular family.
That's true. That's true, for the most part.
I mean, I went over to my wife's parents today, and it was just chill. I know the whole family. They're all awesome. Carrie's cousin, Matthew, he's a super smart kid. He actually wants to come on the podcast, and he's very enlightened.
Call that motherfucker up!
Yeah.
We haven't had a guest on for 2 weeks, man. We don't know what to do without guests anymore.
Have you heard the beginning of this podcast? If you're still watching right now.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Matthew, and I probably could, but anyways, he's just very enlightened in the fact that this dude just eats meats, vegetables, and fruit. That's all he eats.
Isn't there all that is besides bread?
So he's low carb, basically, is what he's getting at.
Yeah,
he has a low carb.
It's like Atkins with no dairy.
He's manipulating the macros is what people in the nutrient world, or not the nutrient
I forget
world.
what guy he said he listens to, but he said there's like some dude that he listens to that's all about it. But anyways, have you guys heard about, it's called Randontine? I don't know what this shit is, man. It's really weird. But a TikTok video shows Randontine teen finds suitcase.
Man, fuck TikTok, bro. I'm on board with this. We can get on this, but I just want to personally say, like, fuck TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok is the toilet of the internet.
Randonauting? Is that going to random places?
Yeah, where teen finds a suitcase with dead body parts in it.
I've never heard the term randonauting before.
I haven't either. So a viral video shows 2 teenage girls discovering a suitcase containing body parts on Seattle Beach. The teens used the Randonautic app, which randomly sent them to the location. In the TikTok video, 2 girls at the beach discover a black suitcase on rocks.
This got to be fake as fuck, man.
No, it's legitimate. There's been multiple cases, and I'm trying to. Basically, I don't know what this app is, but they send you to, like, you get on this app and it just sends you random locations and you go to it, And I guess another instance, there was like these people went to this location and there was a dog just standing in the middle of the road, and they found a dead. I don't know. It's weird.
Dude, this is fake as fuck.
It's not, bro. It's legit. So
I don't know anything about this right now, but I would almost put all the money that I've ever owned that this is fake as fuck.
You think so?
Why?
So it says,
Why,
according to Wired, Randonautic is using a random number generator to produce specific coordinates within a set radius of your current location that you can travel to as a way of exploring the world around you. People gather these coordinates through a dedicated app, Randonautica, where they can further define what they want to encounter.
I actually like the idea of that app.
So you just type in dead bodies?
No.
The app encourages users to set a personal intention before visiting a location in the hopes of uncovering synchronicity. I can't say that word. Synchronicities. Sorry, coincidences or occurrences outside usual patterns of experience. So there's a hashtag Rondonaut Challenge that's taken off on TikTok in particular. So there are these.
I don't know, bro. I don't use TikTok.
I don't either. But it's weird that. I mean, that just seems like a movie or like a book, like a serial killer type of shit. You know?
No, so either there is a serial... Because nobody goes through the process of killing a human being, chopping them up, putting into a suitcase, and then just leaving it at a really, like... Because the ocean's, like, right there, right? They're, like...
I mean, it could have washed up.
No, that did not look very washed up.
I didn't see the picture,
the picture that I saw that looks fake as fuck. But...
I mean, you just have to look at the article. I mean, from what I've heard, there's a lot of validity, or it's valid, it's legit, it's true.
That they found a dead body.
Yeah.
And so you're saying it just so happened to line up, like somebody killed somebody, chopped them up, put them in a suitcase, left them at this location, and then all of a sudden the app just told them to go here, and then they found the dead body? Or was somebody like using the app wanting to somebody? So basically,
No, I think they randomly ended up there because of the app. Ignore the app part of it. If they just went to this random location.
Oh, and they just found it.
And they found a dead body. That's all it is. They randomly found a dead body. It just so happens that the place that they went was from the app randomly picking a place to go.
Sure. That's slightly more plausible.
It's nothing like the app was doing it on purpose to get them to find a dead body, if that's what you were thinking.
Is there a video on it? Can you pull up like the actual like video of them like uncovering the dead body? Can we see any kind of like proof?
I don't know how to find that. I'm sure it might be.
That
out
makes
there.
sense.
I don't know.
Because it's fake as fuck. That's why you can't find that shit. Fake as fuck. That's what I say.
I don't think it's fake. I mean, it makes perfect sense, man. The world, there's.
I get it. Like weird.
Dude, you
shit
could randomly
will
go
line
in.
up.
You could randomly go in an aisle, or not an aisle. You could randomly go in an alley somewhere downtown and maybe find a fucking suitcase with dead body parts in it.
Very true. It's suspenseful, you know. You think you're on this app and it's sending you something weird, and you're like, man, I'm about to experience something tight. Next thing you know, you see some dead bodies, man. That's crazy.
But the whole they went through all that goddamn trouble, chopped the motherfucker up, put him in trash bags, threw him in a suitcase, and you get about 20 feet from the ocean, and you just leave him on the rocks. You don't just toss that shit in the fucking ocean.
Well, in all fairness, if it's a beach, man, that would have just stayed right there because of the way the current is. It's not gonna pull that out to sea. Like if he literally just goes out there and throws it in the water, that's washing right back up.
See, you just don't fucking leave it there.
But if you do, how are they going to track that back to
You're
you?
by the fucking ocean, man. That's the biggest fucking body disposal fucking area outside of like...
What if he doesn't have a boat?
That's a good point. He might not have a boat.
Or she.
Or she.
Or they're using the app specifically for that, and they're getting off on it.
I highly doubt
The reason why you always say he whenever you talk about murderers is because typically, given just numbers and data, is murderers tend to be
Males.
Well, especially the
So-
kind that chop people up, put them in a suitcase, and leave it somewhere.
Which, yeah, there's an
It's more of a
Asian...
male trait. But.
There's an Asian dude who he was famous for that in the 70s, and he dismembered...
Did you watch that documentary?
Yeah.
The Cannibal?
Yeah.
The Cannibal one? I
Yeah.
watched that same shit.
And he's alive and out, and...
Dude, he never spent any prison time.
Yeah.
Wait,
it's
why? What?
wild.
He's just... No, this is 100% true, actually. And I cannot remember the name of the documentary.
Sounds fake as fuck.
It's not.
No,
I'm
no,
just-
this one, they actually interviewed the guy. He's ostracized from the community, never did any jail time, but he tells stories of all the people that he ate.
So how did he never do
Basically.
jail time? How did they never convict
Dude,
him?
it was a weird-ass fucking thing, man.
So the country...
He never fucking spent...
the country that he was in, that his parents thought he was so weird that they sent him to study abroad, and it was like in Germany or France or something like that.
No, he ate the German girls.
Yeah.
We've
Shot
watched
him in
the
the-
same
yeah,
shit.
shot him in the
when
back
did you
of the
watch
head.
it, dude? I watched this years ago.
I watched a couple months ago.
Yeah, this was,
and
like-
he ended up paying a girl to do a porno with him, and at the end of the porno, he told her what he did in his previously in his life.
No, but
It's wild, man.
No, I've seen the same documentary. Like it interviews him basically, and he talks about his process and like certain parts of the human that he disliked, and like refining his process basically. But he literally never spent a day in jail, and is alive and fucking well in some country somewhere.
You keep talking about the documentary. Just one simple question, because it had to explain it in the documentary. Why was he never convicted, or why did he never do jail time?
I don't remember that
question.
part. He was almost just like
That's
so.
like the most important part.
It was so weird. It was almost like because you watched it way more recent. I saw this like years ago. It's so weird you're bringing it up. But I'm pretty sure the whole point was it was like a shame thing where they were so shameful.
Exactly. The German government was, or wherever.
Wherever it happened, and then he went back to his country where they couldn't prosecute him or some shit, to where they literally just ostracized him, and he never spent.
So he went back. So he did the crime in one country and then went back home to a different country.
Yes.
Well, maybe there was no like extradition or whatever.
Exactly. So he never got extradited, but his country knew that he did it. Like it was like heavily fucking proven.
But they
and then
couldn't.
and then
Okay,
he's literally
that
never spent.
That makes sense then. That's what I'm asking.
But what's crazy about the documentary is they're literally interviewing this old man who talks about eating people. It is creepy as fuck, man. It's creepy as fuck.
All I was wondering about was the...
Yep. No, I remember this. Dude, I had to watch this like fucking... Dude, this is before you moved in. Like, this was forever ago I watched this. This was crazy, man. And the way that he talks about it is just so, like, nonchalant. Just, like, eating certain parts of them and, like, being almost disgusted by it. And he's like, yeah, man, there's like nasty parts of like people that don't taste good, and he's like, man, you just feel grossed out by eating this part of the human, but other parts are like really good.
They found him mentally unfit to stand trial, and he was committed to an asylum is what happened.
Man,
so he was still committed to an asylum.
Yeah.
Something, but the whole point is
He walked free, basically.
But the dude was being interviewed in his fucking apartment.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't at an asylum whenever they were interviewing this fucking guy. It was at his apartment. Dude, it's so creepy.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's crazy, man. I completely forgot I watched that. I remember being like disturbed. I was like laying in bed, like watching that shit off my phone. Like I remember and just being like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
What do you think it... I wonder what goes wrong. Is it society that it allows someone to be able to commit murder? I wonder what it takes. I mean, I would never...
nature versus nurture. Is it nurture? Is it society that does it, or is it nature? Like, was he born that way?
Yeah.
Like, was he born mentally?
Right.
I don't know,
probably could be a little bit of both.
It's probably.
Just to be born, I feel like you'd have to be raised like within the first 3 or 4 years of your life in a very odd way to be.
Oh, most likely, I would assume.
I don't
it's
think
the same with like people who like abuse like small animals and shit like that. They usually don't have a great home life. They're usually their dad, and I'm making a very broad generalization here, but like dad beats them, or like I don't think the majority of normal people just decide to go out and like break their dog's neck and bury it as a kid. Like that's some fucked up shit. That something probably is happening in your.
But out of
life.
like 6 billion people that are on the earth, I feel like one could be just born just like really just an evil person.
Possibly. I don't know. You'd have to have some brain issues. You'd have to do like a CAT scan.
Isn't that the big difference between a psychopath and a sociopath? Is that a sociopath is literally there's nothing you could have done about it. Like that's just literally how their brain is wired.
Yeah.
That unfathomable amount of narcissism that they have and their lack of regard for human life, that they can just do shit like that, as to where a psychopath couldn't necessarily have been a psychopath. I almost wish we had
Niha?
Niha. There you go. Niha on for this one, just to ask her, because I'm sure that she would have a really good explanation between the two.
From the very minimal amount I know about psychology from the psychology classes and stuff I took, from what I can remember, the only different, and it doesn't have anything to do with the wiring like you're talking about, The only difference between a psychopath and a sociopath, as far as like on a diagnosis level, is the fact that a psychopath can still have empathy. They have power hungry, all that stuff. Like, honest to God, politicians, you have to be a little bit what's the word I'm looking for here? Psychopathy.
Psychopathy.
Psychopathy. Thank you. You have to have some psychopathy. Whatever. Sociopath though would be no. What is the word I just used? Starts with an E. No empathy, or sympathy, or understanding of other people. You literally don't feel connected to the human race. You have no. Like a psychopath could stab someone to get ahead in life, but they would still feel the guilt or the weight of stabbing that person. They may enjoy it, but they still feel something there. That's where a sociopath would have no remorse and no empathy. They think nothing of the person's kids. They think it would just be like a blank.
And that has to do with the wiring of the brain.
I mean,
think maybe so.
I still think that could be nurtured in, is what I'm saying. I don't think you have to be born that way.
So if you don't already have that genetic mental disability there, anybody could become a psychopath put under the right circumstances. I think, man, I really hope I'm not getting this wrong here. But
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And especially whenever you were talking about, because especially like we've talked about on the podcast before about how early ages of life are very detrimental to who you are later on in life. Like if you have a really well put together home, like a loving mother, loving father. Mother. Artyom.
We've been playing too much.
Yeah, no, I know. Nobody's ever going to get that. If you have a loving household, it's not completely 100% out of the question, but it's highly unlikely that you're going to go out and be able to do evil things. Now, if you grew up in a household where you have abusive parents who beat the shit out of you, you were raped.
That's literally what I said earlier with the dog killing thing.
Yeah, like you're raped to shit. Fucking, they threw you in a fucking closet. Fucking, I've heard horrible things that happen to kids.
Harry Potter,
those kids just don't come out okay. Like that's a very important like age group. So, no, as far as like being able to do things like that, I really think stems from
You guys remember
things.
You guys remember the story of, and I can't remember her name, and I don't even know time wise. I don't know if this was like recent or if it was in the 80s or 10 years ago, 40 years ago. Like I don't know, but I remember hearing the story about the chick who was. She was literally kept like in a cage under the fucking stairs or whatever. Like her parents were crazy, super just ridiculous nut jobs and whatnot. And they finally like police found her or whatever, saved her. There was someone knew about it, saved her. And she was like either 11 years old or 13, but she was like feral. She couldn't speak English. Like,
there's a documentary on her too. No, because she was such a unique study that was able to be done.
It was she was one of the oldest people
obviously, morally, you cannot take a kid and then lock them away in a room, basically, and then see, oh, well, how do you develop without having any stimuli?
No social interaction
whatsoever. No new shit coming in. And she was like, she had like the IQ of like a 6-year-old, basically, at the age of like 16 or some shit.
Less.
But she couldn't physically retain new information or develop from there because her brain was so acclimated to that. And she missed out on that developing stage of her youth, which, I mean, there's been so many studies done that from the ages of literally from when you're born to when you're like 12 years old is literally how your brain is able to socially adapt, physically adapt, all these things. Like if you're not stimulated correctly and exposed to enough, then you're kind of fucking shit out of luck. Like, if you don't get enough of that. Social exposure is hugely important for human beings. Even though me, at 29, says, fuck social exposure.
To a degree, though. But, man,
I just
you wouldn't
sit
want...
in my house.
Hold up, but you wouldn't
I can
want,
still
like...
socially interact, though.
You wouldn't want, like, isolation, like in prison. Like, they literally call that... In some countries, they don't do that because it is a form of cruel and unusual punishment.
We do that shit all the time in the U.S.,
I said
man.
Some countries.
We do that shit all the time in the U.S.
No, and it should be cruel and unusual punishment. People aren't designed like that. To literally be in a room with no lights, no window, you can't tell what time of day it is, and there's no social interaction.
Fuck you up.
Yeah.
Since we were talking about documentaries, we've already talked about documentaries. I said that weird. documentaries, there's a really interesting one called I Am the Killer, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. It's on Netflix.
It was like the very first episode of this guy who...
I Am a Killer.
I Am a Killer. There you go. And it's literally him talking about his life sentence, and he's on death row. They only, like, talk to people who are facing, like, life sentences or people on death row, and he talks about his horrible fucking childhood. Go figure. Because nobody has... I kid you not, I have not heard one case in my entire life of somebody who's had a great fucking upbringing of loving parents who goes out and does horrible fucking things.
Oh, man, it's almost like there's a...
It's almost like there's some
there.
like some weird like science back behind there is to where we need to care for kids and make sure that they have a good upbringing and a good education and a nice healthy fucking environment to live in. And that I don't want to. I could segue into something else, but I don't want to do that just yet. So this guy in prison, he had been in prison his whole fucking life, socially ostracized because of it, super negative. He's literally being put in lockdown, going mentally fucking insane because they only let him out for an hour a day. The rest of the time, like, he'll sleep 6 hours, wake up, doesn't know what time of day it is, doesn't have anything but, I mean, they give him like a pen and a notepad, which I don't know what you do with your own psyche at that point. I don't know what you express through that, especially not being like higher. I'm pretty sure he didn't have anything. He did not have a high school graduate level
And you're
education.
not talking a couple of days. You're talking like months.
Years.
Oh, years.
By the way, years.
Yeah.
This dude was in for years. And he ended up having a cellmate at one point, and he knew that if he killed this guy, he'd be able to be put on, because he wasn't on death row. I don't know what he did. He had like a bunch of crimes, like maybe sexual assault or something like that, but he was in prison for a very fucking long time. But he had a cellmate, and he goes, I know if I kill this guy, then I get to be put on death row. And then on death row, they don't put you in isolation. You actually get put in with all the other death row inmates, and they're a lot laxed on you because you're like, hey man, you're gonna die in like 5 to 6 years. So you get to go out.
So you're actually treated better on death row.
Yeah, you're treated better on death row than just what his scenario was. So he's like, I killed the motherfucker. He was like, I killed him, and he begged for the death penalty because that was his whole point. He was like, I killed him, I choked him out, I stomped on his fucking face. I killed the fuck out of this dude so I can get on death row. That way I would be able to see the outside more.
I wonder if there's a problem with our prison
system. You know how fucked. That's what I was getting to. You know how fucked our prison system is, to where somebody can kill another person for a higher level of shit to have a better life. And that's all that guy was trying to do. You literally backed him into a corner. Being like, hey, man, you get a TV on death row. He's like, man, you get TVs. He's like, man, you get to watch TV if you're on death row. Man, he's like, you get to go outside for like 3 hours. You don't get locked in this room. These people go insane. Our prison systems, amongst nearly every other aspect of the United States right now, is completely fucked. But that one hit home for me, like watching that documentary.
That'd be rough.
And hearing that guy say that, to where he's like, man, if I just killed this one guy in here, they will not lock me up for 23 hours a day. Like, that is stupid as fuck. What are we doing for that guy? Like, he had a horrible childhood. Talked about an abusive, alcoholic fucking mother beating the shit out of him. Like, all this fucking horrible shit. The dude has not gotten a single fucking break in his entire life, and nobody ever fucking took the time, especially when he was a kid. Obviously, he's made some fucking bad decisions. He's probably not ready to get back into society. But I mean, like, man, this is how we handle these people as a society. Like, no, man, there's a better way. You got to get back to the origin of the issue, man. We need to be worried about our kids, and not just kids that you genetically have, but every kid, man. I'm pretty sure I hate quoting the goddamn fucking Bible. I hate it. I hate doing it. I grew up with it, so I know a lot of it. But Jesus said, suffer the children. Suffer the children. He was very blatant on this. If you're any kind of a religious person, if I could speak correctly, religious people do not worry enough about the fucking kids in this society. And they go, oh, I donate here, and I worry about this. No, you need to worry about the kids first, their education, their home life. And there are ways to go about that to where it can be better for them. And you wouldn't have these crazy fucking instances, and also prisons need reform and just along with everything else in America needs reform.
Gotta
But
reform.
reform. I'm gonna make a T-shirt, goddammit, and that'll fucking change everything. No, it fucking won't. Quit making fucking T-shirts. Nobody reads your fucking T-shirts. Actually, do some shit that makes change. It's not through fucking T-shirts. My bad. I went off on a rant.
No,
Paul, take over.
No, you're
Flat
good.
Earth. Flat Earth. Give it to me.
I think reform, yeah, for sure reform on a lot of things, especially the prison system, for sure. Isolating people, self-isolation is probably one of the worst things. I would be curious to know what scientists came out and said that was actually even a good idea to isolate.
I don't think any of them said it was a good idea. That's the whole point. Scientists are saying that it's not a good idea.
I'm
They're
just saying,
showing
but
that
whenever they started isolation, I'm sure there was some sort of scientific evidence to suggest that maybe that's what they should do for high offenders.
I don't know, but I would actually be willing to bet the opposite. I would be willing to bet that there was no science done, and they literally said,
We're just going to
they,
isolate
Lock 'em
this
up.
said,
person.
they said, well, they didn't say fuck them up. They literally said, hey, this person did bad things. They're not good around other people. They're going to keep doing bad things. Let's put him in a room by himself. And they didn't have the science behind what that does to a person.
But the problem is we know
Now
what
we
it
know.
does,
Now we
but
know.
we still fucking do it.
Right.
We don't change shit. We live in a time where we have so much access to information. This is so frustrating. We have right now, in this very moment, more access to more information than there ever fucking was. We literally are around the stupidest fucking people that have also fucking been alive. How does that fucking correlate? I'm just curious about that. Nobody has any fucking intuition anymore. Nobody ever fucking delves deep into fucking anything. How is it we have access to the most information, the most accurate fucking information on how fucking shit researchers, people spent their life living and breathing and dying on a subject, and then you have one motherfucker who goes, oh, no, it's bullshit. And then, like, seriously?
I just imagine that person.
This is what America is, man. Somebody literally went to 4 years for their fucking masters, like peer-reviewed fucking studies, showing some like absolute fucking data, like thesis, all this, fucking 10 years of their fucking life, posted on fucking line. This is the results, and there's just a bunch of fucking ass bullshit. Bullshit. That's fucking crap. That's not what I fucking no. That doesn't line up with my fucking
Doesn't
beliefs.
line up with my beliefs.
Doesn't fucking line up with my fucking beliefs. Fuck off, man. This is a joke. We have the most information we've ever fucking had, and we still live status quo to shit that didn't work fucking 40 years ago that we know fucking didn't work. And we're wondering why there's fucking civil unrest. Like, we're wondering why everybody's fucking unhappy with their fucking day-to-day fucking jobs. We're wondering why we only get fucking shit politicians every fucking year. I don't agree. It's fucking ridiculous. Get over it. Get over it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that
make all valid points.
I think social media probably plays a large role in why those people exist, because, you know, like we've talked about, it's a narcissistic world that we live in. We're all about ourselves, and like you said, it's all about what aligns with what you want and what you want done. And unfortunately,
I think that
even like Pat said he tried to reach out to local congressmen and Senate people and shit like that, and it was just like a hill he couldn't climb.
I think the issue, and that some of this does have to do with the what you call like social networking and all that stuff. It has to do a little bit with that. But I think the biggest issue is that, and I do believe that everybody should have freedom of speech, and everybody should be able to put their opinion out there. The thing is, these scientists or researchers, educators, everything, who have done what you've said, who have put in the 4 to 8 years, the 8 years to get their doctorates, and then the 20 years after that to come up with their thesis and their hypothesis and all this stuff and do the research and do the study. The problem we have is they are put on the same platform and the same level of speech as me. I can get on YouTube and say whatever the fuck I want right now. I can get on their website where they put out this data and go, bullshit. And I'm given that same level when I haven't earned it. I haven't put the work in to earn that same level. I should be able to say whatever I want. The difference is that the platforms I use are the same platforms they use, and it reaches just as many ears. Which is why we always come back to the whole thing of the vocal minority.
What they say isn't sexy, as opposed to a conspiracy channel.
I'm not even talking about that. That's a good point, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I mean, in general, with some of the stuff and I relate this back to fucking stupid video game stuff because that's what I'm into, but like Reddit, I'm sure some of you have heard of Reddit out there. Something gets said about a fucking video game like Call of Duty, and then the devs end up changing stuff because of the vocal minority. Because of the people out there who are like, this isn't right, do it this way, blah, 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 blah. But that's only fucking 5% that are out there typing it. The other 95% are out there enjoying and playing the video game. Once again, I'm using the video game as an example because it's what I know. But it's the vocal minority who affects things when really they're the minority. But they have that same outreach.
If you're doing something right, nobody will ever know that you're even doing anything.
Yes.
Basically is what you're saying.
Yes.
If you're doing something right, dude, well then nobody knows any difference. It's just happening. As to where what you're talking about is just this, oh man, this doesn't fucking fit my criteria of exactly how I
you have a small...
And then now there's this huge fucking flash of light that shines so bright, but for no fucking reason at all.
On to those 5%.
Because it's working so well already. And there's always assholes. There's always assholes. There's probably one watching this right now. There's probably one amongst the three of us. Probably me. But I mean, that's just how fucking life works. Like,
yeah, I'm just trying to think of a way to say it, but I mean, like a lot of the things that I want to say, we've already like got into that would just further on this conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's just ultimately how I feel about it.
I just think that it's kind of a catch-22. To go back to what you were saying, Jesse, about this is the most information we've ever had. The internet is a great thing. The internet, you can get information from all across the world.
That's what's insane. We're the most connected. We're the most connective. We should
That causes issues too, though, is what I'm saying.
Apparently.
When you give everybody the same platform, it means that the guy, and I'm going to use this as an example because it's the first one that popped in my head. It gives the person who is like, man, the earth is flat and aliens killed my dad, the exact same platform and ability to speak and the same weight as the person who did 20 years looking into this and did the research.
I think that's a good thing, though.
I think it's a good thing for everybody to get their opinion out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they've earned the weight of their words. Man, I'm doing so bad of a job of describing this. You haven't put in the work to deserve the influence that you have on people.
Yeah, because you could have some clickbait video and people just, you know.
We haven't earned it. So, I hope that people watch us. I hope that people listen to us and enjoy what we talk about. Maybe disagree sometimes, maybe agree, maybe think we're smart, maybe think we're idiots. Doesn't matter. But I can say that we have not, the amount of time we've been doing this, 2 years or whatever it is, you guys for 2 years, me for like a year and a half or a year or whatever, we haven't done the research to really earn there's a reason we don't have 2 million subs right now. It's because we haven't done the work to have that. And the same can be applied for the random person who says, no, JFK was killed by a guy in a cowboy hat who was actually an alien and, you know, steals teeth from children in the middle of the night. Like, it doesn't matter. That's the point. You can put out whatever kind of random bullshit you have and reach the same amount of people as the guy who has done the research on that subject for 20 years.
Well, we're always looking for a conspiracy. I think in the JFK situation, even when it initially...
And I'm just using examples.
I know you are. But I think in that situation, even afterwards, I think people knew there was something weird about it.
Once again, I'm just using examples.
No, I know, but I think that as humans, we're looking for something odd and different. And naturally, whenever we're looking at something, we'd rather look at something that someone who hasn't done the work that someone has, they like to listen to that person because they know that people are addicted to weird shit or conspiracy shit.
I get that completely. Get that completely. But there's also a point of confirmation bias, which is a huge issue I have, which is where if you already believe in something, you are more likely to continue believing in that same thing when other people agree with you, even if that information is not as valid. I'm not going to use examples on this one because there's bias, obviously, with examples. So I'm just going to say, point A and point B. The majority of people believe in point A, and a lot of research has been done about point A, and there's a lot that proves it. You believe in option B. So whenever you find information that agrees with you and tells you to believe in option B, you are already confirmation biased and weighted to believe that more, even if the information about option B is less reliable than option A. And that's the problem I have with that kind of confirmation bias thing, where people don't you should take a step back. You should look at conspiracies. I'm not saying you should wholeheartedly believe in option A. You should take a look at option B, but realize what is reliable and unreliable information.
For sure.
And if you already believe in option B and you're getting 90% or you're getting 70% reliable information, but the information from option A is like 95% reliable or validated information, you should take this one more with a grain of salt, even if it's something you already believe in.
Right, but it's getting.
So why does that initially happen? Hold on.
It's getting increasingly more hard though to even get the right information.
True, I agree.
What do you think the psychology is behind somebody who like
confirmation bias? People like to be right. People are narcissistic, myself included.
So it's
all
a pride.
Of us.
So it's literally a pride thing because
people don't like to be
I
wrong.
already said that this was right. So even though I have an overwhelming amount of information that this is actually how it is, but there's still 5% information that could, that I'm grasping onto, and because I've already chosen to go down this fucking road.
People don't like to be wrong.
Dude, everybody gets wrong at some point.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You should be able to change your mind through things. Man, if I say something really dumb on Twitter fucking 10 years ago, don't hold me to it because I'm a human being and I can change my fucking mind.
That's just
they're
human
trying.
nature.
And I'm not trying to get into politics, but the left is they're actually trying to pull Joe Rogan's show right now because of something he said 10 years ago with Joe.
Dude, it happened with not J.J. Abrams. Fucking what is his name? Why can I not remember his name now?
I know who you're talking about.
The dude who did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Somebody out there will know what I'm talking about. Can put it in the comments or whatever. I'm not going to look it up right now. The director who did Guardians of the Galaxy, they found some pretty fucked up stuff from his Twitter like 10 years ago or 8 years ago. And so then they end up Disney fired him or whatever. But I'm like, man, the stuff he said 8 years ago was 8 years ago. And he was a different person and a different kind of director. He was directing different kind of films and had a different outlook on life.
And we've hit this before.
I know, yeah, we've talked about this.
Everybody said fucked shit. That's a part of it. That's how you learn.
Dude, that's actually, I think...
Nobody is born a fucking perfect human being with good social interaction and good morality.
You ever seen Keanu Reeves?
Dude, you learn that shit. Well, wow, he's the exception.
Yeah.
He's the exception. Which he would even say, no, bro. No, I'm not. He'd flick his long...
Doesn't even put his arm around people. I mean, he does, but then he'll like put it to the side. Like he won't even...
Keanu Reeves is just an amazing person. But the whole point is, when do we all of a sudden have to exclude... And this only has to do with people in the limelight who have shit that is like documented on the fucking internet, and then you fucking ostracize them for some shit, and you don't even know how they've developed. Maybe they really regret that shit. I do shit all the time I regret. I'm a human being. I do shit almost on a daily basis that I fucking regret, where I'm like, man, looking back, I could have handled that way better. Man, I was too angry in this moment.
It's the Karen culture, man.
This is where everybody expects you to be perfect and line up with, by the way, a very liberal fucking side of shit. Not to get into too much of that, but if you're not lined up with what is culturally acceptable, which is the liberal side, then oh man, you're a piece of shit. You didn't line up 15 fucking years ago with what's happening now. Dude, everybody's fucked then. You need to let some fucking shit go. People fucking develop. People change their minds on shit.
And time goes by and that does happen. But
once
now,
you start, dude, this is a very Marxist fucking thing, by the way, right? The second you can start judging people, not them in the moment, not them as who they are right now, but for previous fucking shit and how things have developed, and you're just like, oh man, you did this fucking 10 years ago, you said this one fucking thing, and you're like, dude, I hate the fact that I said that. They go, we don't give a shit. We're ostracizing you now.
You said it.
I don't know what that has to do with Marxism, but...
Good point. I have to go farther into that. But the whole point is, you cannot fucking be so judgmental on somebody. And this only happens in this day and age because we have so much data.
And people are losing their jobs, man. Losing their livelihood, their family. I mean, like, it's insane.
if
You know they're trying to fuck with Magic the Gathering. They fired Magic fired one of their top.
I never watched that video. By
Yeah.
the way, I didn't watch that video.
Like that's.
I watched all the rest videos you sent me.
Yeah,
It's got me super pumped about it.
Waylon's he's the man, dude. He's fun to watch. But like Magic the Gathering, I forget one of the developers, or I don't know. He said something. I don't know what it was. He ended up getting fired.
Did he say it now, or did he say it like years and years ago?
I can't remember, man. Too many YouTube videos.
Because there is, I will say, there is a difference of, for example,
Like, oh my God, you've been a great person for this company for fucking 10 years, but you said one thing, so we need to fucking completely fucking get rid of you.
Well, what about
Because you know what that does?
What about
that
Drew
only
Brees?
only strengthens their fucking opinion on the other side. Drew Brees should just not have said anything.
But he did. And he had to like basically say.
I get what Drew Brees was saying, but Jesus Christ, man.
Too
Just
soon.
Don't
Too soon.
say anything. It's such bad timing, man.
Right.
I get it.
But he
I
shouldn't.
get
He
it.
shouldn't have to be afraid to say what he feels.
And I have a different opinion on that. Okay, so me and Drew Brees have completely opposite opinions. I thoroughly believe in the opposite side of what he's talking about, but at the same time, I can see his argument. But at the same time, man,
But everyone gets. I mean, and people
dude,
are
just don't say anything, bro.
You shouldn't not be just.
Drew Brees is a good guy. We all know Drew Brees.
Right.
We hang out.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Jesse, you can't tell.
We fly out to New Orleans all the time.
Why do we get it? Why do we get to a point now
No.
where you legitimately just said if you have a voice that wants to be heard, and he has a platform that Johnny's talking about where he's well respected, maybe not on the subject, but he is in the NFL and he has dealt with all these types of things, and you're telling him no, just don't say it.
no, I actually agree with Paul here. He should have every right to. Also, it's still really dumb. Like, what are you doing? I agree with Jesse in the fact,
Stupid.
man, the timing
Fucking
is bad. Like, it was
Sure.
really dumb.
Yeah.
But you're right. No, he should be able to say that.
He's not a bad guy.
But it's fucking dumb.
Anybody who labels Drew Brees as a racist, he's not a fucking racist. I think that his emotions are placed in an area that is just different. He has an opinion. He has a very strong opinion on that, and that's perfectly fucking fine. It differs from mine, but at the same time, I think that I think if he really grasp the whole scenario, he wouldn't have said anything. He would just be like, I'm going to let these people, the same thing I talked about whenever I was outside. I was like, every fucking person on this planet, nobody has the exact same morality. The same way, you know that bullshit they told you, man, you're a snowflake, you're completely fucking unique, every person. Well, we actually fucking are, but we're not fucking snowflakes. We're human beings. Snowflakes don't fucking rape and murder each other. We have a high potential for really bad.
The ice storm of 2000.
Right. Yeah.
We have a high potential for really bad. We're not fucking snowflakes. But everybody's completely different. Everybody's morality is completely fucking different. You just tend to fucking line up with people with the same general morality that you have right now. Now, Drew Brees is a fucking good guy. There is not a racist bone in that dude's body. I can guarantee you right now. He is a family man. He's a really good person. He's looked down upon a little bit because he had a mistimed, misplaced statement. And I think what he had to say was...
You don't know what he was trying to say. He said what he said, then he
was talking about respecting. He talked about his forefathers, the people that created this country, the people that died, and I totally get that. But it is just bad timing. Now his morality says it's okay for him to say that right now, as to where my morality, even though I have the same feelings as him, is to where I respect that shit. I also believe in the protests that should be happening. I believe in kneeling during the national anthem. I'm all for that.
I was going to say, that's basically, for the people who don't know, Drew Brees basically came out and said that he is against people kneeling during the national anthem.
Yes. The issue is, it's just mistimed. He's not a bad person. He's not a bad person. He's not a racist. I legitimately don't think there's a racist bone in his body. I think it's a his passion, his morality is more about the people that he knew, and he has a very close lineage family, I would assume, given how he talked about it, to where it's extremely important to him, and that's fine. But I think it's just misplaced and mistimed because now his offense is that you're disrespecting the flag. And I legitimately just don't think that, man, this is just my morality once again. The whole point is this duality of fucking morality here. He's a good guy who has really solid fucking morals. There is not a racist bone in his body. And then you have the black community over here not doing one thing that he might see as being disrespectful to the flag, but I don't think that's actually happening. I think it's mainly a miscommunication, but what you really have to absorb through this whole thing is that every person who's completely unique is they have unique morality, and that doesn't make you a good or a bad person throughout this whole thing. I just think it's bad timing, which is why I think he should have just not said anything.
I disagree with that 100%.
I think he should have just not said anything.
I think he has the right to say something.
Of course you have a right to say something.
Hold up.
Yeah.
I think he has the right to say something.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I agree with Jesse. He shouldn't have said anything because the timing is awful. And his message wasn't that powerful to even make much of it. I don't know. The timing was bad.
I heard the audio. He
shouldn't have really said anything. Not because he shouldn't be allowed to. He should totally be allowed to. I'm saying he should have enough common sense.
Can we just clear this out of the water really quick? Because I've actually had to do a little bit of research on this. Because I'm, first and foremost, I do not support war of any kind. I do not support the war in Afghanistan, but I do support fucking troops. I do support what made this country great, people who have lost and sacrificed their lives for this country. I respect them greatly. I will say this.
I'm tired. Sorry about all the yawning.
You can edit that out, I'm assuming.
I'm not going to.
What I will say is that this is such a misconstrued thing about Colin Kaepernick and the whole kneeling during the national anthem. He literally went and talked to a Green Beret about what he should do for the protest of police brutality. He initially wanted to just sit during the anthem and not stand up. And the Green Beret literally told him, I wish I remembered his name. This is completely documented. The Green Beret said, do not sit during the national anthem. He goes, that is extremely disrespectful. He goes, you know what you should do? You should kneel. You should kneel to still show support for it. But he goes, kneeling isn't just like sitting like you don't give a shit. He goes, kneeling like you're kneeling.
You're
like
acknowledging it.
You're acknowledging, and this is a thing. People who get upset about people, like, we put a flag at half-mast, right? Whenever there's, like, tragedy that happens in the nation and big figures die, like loss of life. We put the flag at half-mast. I think that's how you need to think about kneeling. Kneeling isn't it is this recognition of your country, and you're just not okay with something. Like, this is not some disrespect.
He's not burning the flag. He's not walking on top of it.
This is not some disrespectful move to the flag. Yes, you're not standing. But the whole point is, I am not okay with my country in the state that it is right now, and I'm begging for resolve. And this is the platform that I have, but I won't sit and just have chew and spit and fucking just sit back on the sidelines. He goes, I'm going to acknowledge it, but I'm going to kneel and stand out from the crowd to show it. This was literally what a Green Beret fucking said to do. Because that's initially what Colin Kaepernick wanted to do, was just not even be involved at all. And he goes, man, that's too disrespectful. But we get so caught up in fucking media saying, look at all these people kneeling. Look at the disrespect to the flag of this perfect country that we have. Why would we ever fucking protest anything that's wrong with this? Just fucking, man, it's so frustrating. Things are so misled, man. Everybody listens way too much to what they're being told, their media outlet, what they're being pumped full of.
I think everyone already knows that. I mean, at least within our friend group, you know.
You know what's sad, dude? Dude, everybody knows that. Yeah. I guarantee you poll fucking people who just come into the restaurant that we work at, and you were to ask, hey, do you think the governments and the media sources are 100% correct and nothing's corrupt? They'd be like, fuck no. Everything's corrupt. All of them. Everybody thinks it's corrupt.
And then they go home and watch the news.
And then they go home and fucking watch the news.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Go figure. The time where we have the most fucking information, the most fucking resources to fucking anything. You could learn about anything in the world. We could learn any fucking language. We can watch any video of some dude fucking jerking off fucking in Korea. Like, Oh man, but we have regressed. We have regressed so sadly. We have regressed. I don't know if this is a lull in society, because I get it. Like shit will, like on a graph, like peak as far as like development goes. But I'm like, man, we're real fucking low right now.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be
Like
that
we're
way.
real low.
Within all the videos that we've done, I think we've kind of proven that was the ultimate goal, is to do precisely what you just said, and that's dumb down America. That way, you get the end result, and this is the end result. Honestly, we've legitimately proved that in past podcasts. So it's not something that's surprising. It's not something that's brand new. We know this, man.
No, and I don't think that's what Jesse was saying either.
No,
none of it's surprising. None of it's frustrating though.
Yeah, for sure it is. And I think, and I agree with you in the fact that resolve is necessary, and to see how it could go down is very scary. But I was texting Dan earlier, and he said, like, man, like, if we want our freedoms, like, you're gonna have to fight for it, and
You should check out our old podcast with Dan.
not-
Dan is a Constitution expert kind of guy who knows a lot about the Constitution and whatnot.
What's crazy is the common people, like the people here doing this podcast, are not in opposition with everyone else that's throughout the United States. We all have the same goals, realistically. We want to be treated with respect. So the majority of us understand the first thing you want to do if you want to be treated with respect is you treat other people with respect.
The golden rule.
The golden rule, right?
we're all adults. We're all
hate
adults
quoting
here.
the
man.
Bible.
We're all adults here, and that's what's confusing is
Like-
the fact that what you're saying, people should already know this as an adult. It's the
Fundamentals. We can have, like I said, my morality differs between either one of these guys right here. The same thing with anybody. Like your kids will have different moralities than you.
Right.
Some of them might piss you off a little bit, but you'll be accepting of that because you know their overall character.
right.
We are missing this big point that we still are this massive fucking power, and we are being led astray by this fucking,
To hate each
in my
other.
opinion, which once again I have to say my opinion, I don't want to put this as fact because I'd be wrong about anything, is this federal government fucking media driven fucking bullshit separation between all of us, when I guarantee you could get a right wing Republican who was so big on, man, you never fucking kneel during the anthem. I had fucking family members who fucking died for this goddamn country. This is who I am. You could have Black Lives Matter, super liberal on the other side, and I guarantee you if they just spend enough time together, they'd realize that, holy shit, we're just fucking human beings, and we'd be able to get along too.
Right. How do we forget
there's-
that? How do we forget that? Because
It happens all the fucking
Right.
time, and it's happening so aggressively right now.
And
only worse.
Yeah, and the big question is how, and I think, again, social media and media in general is what's definitely driving that. And it's, whatever you just said, I don't know why I'm even repeating that. It's just the federal government, the corporate oligarchy. This is exactly what they want, and it's working. There are probably over 100 million to 200 million adults in this country, right? And I'll give the 19 or the 16 to like maybe 25-year-olds, that's their time to find out who they are. And it even takes longer than that. But being 30 years old and finally becoming somewhat of an adult and being able to dig deep into my mind and figure out who I am, my morals and stuff like that, and where they belong, I'm willing to sit down and have a conversation with anyone about any subject, just to figure it out, what is wrong and how do we fix it.
And
Everyone should try and do that, man. But it's 200 million people to do that. It's hard. It's extremely hard. That's a hard task.
Well, I was going to say, on top of that, like you said, with the federal government, the corporate oligarchy, the fucking everything, the super high up, the 0.01%, Rothschild, all that stuff. I kind of feel like it's not even a conspiracy theory at this point. It just makes sense. Like whatever the Occam's razor, which is like the simplest, the most obvious thing, that whatever it is that makes sense is probably the most accurate or the thing that fits. And it's like, how do you keep people from revolting? How do you keep people from fighting back and enacting change? You know what the simplest way is? Pit them against each other. Rich versus poor, black versus white, police versus civilian. Everything you can to keep them fighting each other. You know how many times I hear the stupid, like, and I've said it myself, but when I say it, I'm meaning a different thing. The whole eat the rich. Man, I'm not talking about going after Tom Cruise. I'm not talking about going after Oprah because she makes a shit ton of money. I'm talking about Rothschild. I'm talking about, I'm not even talking about Jeff Bezos. I have a problem with Bezos, but I'm not talking about that, even with all his money. I'm saying above that. I'm saying the people who have the actual forms of real control. But you can't go after them. You can't even get close to them because we can't unite. What's the easiest way to keep us ununited? To keep us ununited. Make us fight each other. People are, man, people shouldn't get $15 an hour minimum wage. That's ridiculous. I'm an EMT and I only make 18. Boom. Argument. Boom. Fighting. Now you have people against each other. Oh, man, this thing's happening with black people. Boom. Black versus white. There's so much that they do constantly.
Yeah.
And to think that it's some kind of random crazy... No, you're insane. That's a conspiracy theory. Maybe I am, but, man, it really just makes the most sense.
Right.
This really quick. We need to quit letting our opinions define us. Because think about how fickle opinions are. Think about that for a second. When is an opinion ever really held any weight anywhere in the world? Things change. The universe changes. Society changes. Morality fucking changes. Opinions change. We are so heavy as a society right now to where we are defining ourselves as individuals strictly on opinions.
That's what I said earlier about confirmation bias.
Fickle.
It's a perfect example, confirmation bias. Nobody wants to be wrong, so you define yourself by...
The wicker man burns down so fucking quick. Quit defining yourself by your opinions. Get back to what humanity is and just interacting and understanding each other. Not opinions on what other people should be doing or how this should be or anything. Just, man, eat, drink, be merry, right? Be with people, commune, right? Whatever happened to that? Do not define yourself by something that is fucking fickle. And I know there's a bunch of people out there that are like, oh, man, this is how I grew up. That's how I grew up.
Well,
guess what?
Grow up, then.
Guess what? Nothing. Show me one point in fucking history where things have fucking stayed status quo. Name one. Without change. Impossible. Well, I guess you could say humans will always be nasty to each other. I guess that's the one thing that stays there.
Yeah.
We can be better than that, though. I hope. Maybe that's my hope. But, man, quit holding on to opinions on things. We don't realize how fickle they are. We get way too caught up, and media is literally putting in your ear how important your opinion is. Oh, man, this is the information you're given. Man, this is your opinion. Don't waver. That's not how you build your foundation of how you think about the world. Get over that shit. It will always change. Well, you'll die. We'll all fucking die. Things will fucking change. It will not be like this anymore. This is the moment we get. Opinions are building your fucking castle on sand, right?
Yeah. No.
Literally. Get over that shit. We are too caught up in this nation, and it's weird. Like I've never had this thought before in my life. We are too caught up on our own opinions about everything. Like, this is exactly how I fucking want it to be. That's not how fucking shit's gonna work. We need to get back to fundamental human being nature about just being kind to each other. Right. Just interact with other people, man. Fuck opinions for a little bit. All that shit changes. This will all change. Everything's gonna die. Everything's gonna go away one day. Have that fucking realization for a moment. And then attempt to realize that, man, it's really... Breathe in, breathe out, be kind to somebody, return your shopping cart, do a podcast, sit in front of a mic.
You know what's crazy about that? I have returned shopping carts. I put my shopping cart back. I've grabbed other people's that are just chilling out there. I see them all the time, right? You guys see shopping carts all the time, right? I've never seen someone just leave it there. I've never seen the person.
Yeah, because you go shopping and you're literally in the parking lot for maybe 30 seconds.
They scutter off into the cockroaches without light or in the light. No, I'm serious. I've never seen the person who it's like the person who refills the red box.
They're ashamed. Because generally they're probably ashamed that they could have just done the basic fucking.
No, I'm
humanity
sure,
of
but it's
putting a
just
shopping
weird
cart
that
back.
they never see that
To
person.
be kind, we're all in this together. Fucking smoke some goddamn weed, do some shrooms. Realize we're all in this together. It's not just about you and your fucking opinions. Dude, fuck me and my opinions. But I'm here though. I'm gonna make the best out of it. Everybody should have opinions, but it shouldn't be what absolutely fucking defines you. And this is what our society's done.
Yeah.
Done to all of us.
Yeah.
Dude, we're defined by opinions. No.
And those opinions
I'm
are
not defined by my fucking opinions.
Those opinions are backed by one Google search with the first search that you get.
No. Screw all that.
Yeah.
Man, we're here together regardless.
Yeah, that's what people forget, man.
Regardless, we're here together. Let's focus on that first.
What you were
You done? I'm gonna word it just a little bit differently, real quick. I actually agree with everything you said. I hate the defined by your opinion thing. I think you should let opinions define you to a little bit. That's how you know who you are and how you make choices in life. I don't think there's anything wrong with having opinions. I think you should be able to change your opinion. You should be able to. That's called learning.
That's why I said you shouldn't be defined by them, because
No,
once you're
I'm defined by my
if they're
opinion.
your core, if your opinions are your core being, dude, you will never get rid of those. You'll never be able to change, because that's what's so meaningful.
I guess we
to
just
you.
have different definitions then, because my opinions and my beliefs in life are what make me me. What? Jesus, my opinion. I'm not even drinking. Like, I've had water all day. My opinions and my beliefs in life do define me. They are what make me who I am. The difference is, no, that is what makes me who I am. That is the sum of all my knowledge and all my experience.
Your opinions are stemming from who you are.
Yeah. And I can.
Your opinions come out of who
Can
you
I
are.
finish
Yeah.
what I was saying?
Sure, fucking do it.
My opinions do define me. My experiences in life define me. The things I have learned define me. The difference is, I am not held by those opinions because my opinions change. When I gain new knowledge, I don't just go, fuck that. I don't need that. I take that in, I process that, and then I learn from that. And my opinion either holds true or I change my fucking opinion. And then that new opinion is a part of my experience as a human being and what defines me as a person. I think we're agreeing, we're just wording it differently, to be honest.
I agree. You can see it. You can see it in. You have to add the narcissistic way that we are with the opinions. You add that. You couple those two things together, and this is what you get, man. When again, 200 million adults is a lot of people. A lot of people. And like you said, people...
Where are you getting the 200 million number?
I'm just saying, give or take. There's 325 million people in America. I'm guessing that there's probably 200 million of those people are adults.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would be extremely hard to get everyone on the same page. So I think, Jesse, what you're saying makes sense, is that if we let go of those opinions that we hold dear to, that we think that, man, my opinion is the end-all, be-all, when it truly isn't, and it's what creates these conflicts. When we get past that, that's when you're going to see real change.
Just don't make that the core of your heart and soul.
Yeah, because
your opinion should not be the core of your heart and soul. It should just be the fundamentals. The fundamentals, like, be nice to each other.
Yeah.
Like, hear everyone talk. Don't be so separated. Don't scurry back into your cave. Like, I think we're blessed within the job that we're in, because we see literally a little bit of every person.
You see the best and worst of
You see the best of humanity, the worst of humanity, literally on a daily basis. It's an overwhelming thing to undertake, especially when you're just dealing with like the mass amount of public on such a quick fucking turnover volume. But I mean, you get to experience that, but a lot of people just scurry back into their cave with the other people that, oh man, this is what I believe in too, and then, oh man, we're just gonna hang out here, and then never go out, and then go to another person's cave. As to where if you were to go into somebody else's life, you'd be like, oh wow, they're so similar to me.
Yeah.
Why was I ever hating on these people
so
much?
Or you learn something new, man, or something different.
And exactly, our exposure, which makes no fucking sense, because we should be the most connected right now than ever. But we are the most disassociated fucking people right now I've ever seen in my life. It is a joke. It's a joke. We have access to everybody. I could call whoever, literally whoever. Somebody who doesn't speak another language, I could FaceTime them. And I could, be like, oh, I'd pull up the fucking Glenlivet. And he'd pull up tequila, or he'd pull up fucking whatever, be like, oh, there we go. General fucking human interaction, And we could have that and be like, yeah, man, you're a human being too, doing the same shit, the same fucking thing. Why are we so disconnected? It's awful. It's awful.
So, and we all
continue to be this way.
Yeah.
It will continue to be this way.
It doesn't have
There's
to
no
be
light
done.
in the fucking future for us right now because nothing is fucking changed.
Well,
nothing is fucking
we're
changed.
doing a
We're
doing a podcast, and if this reaches people, man, and dude, there's inspiring videos out there where people talk very similar to what we're saying right now, and it hits you at the heart in that moment, but it doesn't change anything. You're right. So I honestly don't know what the change is. Maybe if you completely get rid of news organizations and reporting news and people stop watching it.
There will always be something to replace that. I don't think that's the problem. I don't like the news, but I don't think it's part of the problem.
It's part of the problem.
People just not willing to, like Jesse said, man, just listen, learn new things. Branch out, learn new things. Go into other people's caves. Learn something about someone else's life that you may, man, if you're like, man,
nice
I really
out of the cave, right?
Right, I really hate this type of person.
Nice to walk hand in hand out of the cave.
I really hate this type of person. Well, why do you hate them? And have you ever actually put yourself in in their shoes and learned about them and their life and their beliefs?
Yeah, and as you become an adult, you see it's you can still do that because whenever you're around a person enough and you get to know people, pretty quickly. Then if you're going to vibe with that person or not. But at least give it a try. At least still try as opposed to not trying. 100%.
And if you're worried about the evils of people, I promise you, dude, 99% of fucking people are not fucking evil. They just don't get the airtime. That's the fucking problem. The majority of fucking people are not evil. They have separate opinions. They have separate morality. But, man, they're not fucking bad.
Well, and those people
majority of people are not fucking bad, man. We're just so fucking separated, which, man, if we were to get together and actually just be like, oh, wow, this actually isn't that bad. Man, I see your point, and I also have my point, too. We can get over that. It's not about the core, that's not what the core of my being is not my opinion anymore.
Right.
It's more about me just caring for you. And then you just care for fucking other people. How hard is it to fucking care for somebody?
Nah, fuck that. Fuck everybody else. I'm out for me.
Yeah. You know how disgusting it is that this whole subject that we're talking about, there's one common ground that we all have, and it's sports. It's entertainment, You get 70,000 people in Arrowhead that have the same goal, and you could sit there and everyone's happy with each other, We're all one person in Arrowhead because we all have the same goal, we all want the same thing. And you go to the bathroom, you're in the bathroom, everyone's cool, everyone's high-fiving. There are fights, and shit like that after the game if they lose and shit like that. But in the moment, for that 3 hours, we were all one. We were all happy if they're winning. Or if it's a close game, we're all,
See, I don't think that's a good thing either, though. I think
it's not. It shouldn't be
fake.
for...
That's just as bad. That's tribalism in itself. Because you're all happy because you're Chiefs fans. Not the other fans.
No.
Now all of a sudden there's fights. Now there's conflict because once again you don't get along as humans.
I'm just saying
you're holding to that color of your team.
What I'm saying is it's sad that at an NFL game 70,000 people can come together, but we can't even do it in our own community.
No, I think it's necessary, and things will always happen like this because you need a test of your morality. So let's say that you're at a stadium event and your team loses. And you have a bunch of assholes coming up to you giving you shit. Mm-hmm. Now it tests you as an individual. Man, do I lay my pride aside and just be like, oh, yeah. Because I guarantee you, I go to Las Vegas and the Raiders beat us next year, which will not happen. I'm putting money on that game. They beat us, and I'm in Chiefs gear, and somebody starts giving me shit about how fucking Derek Carr... fucking threw for however much, and Patrick Mahomes threw fucking 3 picks in a fucking game, and fucking, oh, you should have never traded Damian Williams, and fucking all this shit. All this shit fucking happens. Now, I could either cause a conflict because now he's put the card on my table to cause a conflict, or do I be like, man, you know what, we lost.
It's just a fucking football game.
It's just, hey, you'd be like, hey, man, we lost. Hey,
all I'm saying is
good job.
Everything that you're saying. It's sad that we can get together at a Chiefs football game and we can't get together in our own community.
It tests that level.
It's just sad.
It tests that. If you can't handle it at a football level, could you experience like a wartime fucking level, being like level-headed, and this is what you have to do. This is your respect of human life. It's got to begin at like football games and shit, man.
Maybe I just didn't come across the way I was trying to. But man, we are at the end of the hour for 100%. So if it's a little different podcast tonight. You started off a little slow, but then we got into it, man.
Freeform.
Freeform. We got Mike Anderson coming on the show next week. Not entirely sure what we're going to be talking about. Check his 2 books out here. He'll be on the show next week. It's going to be a good week. I've been emailing a lot of people, trying to get some more people on the show for you guys, some new content, some newer people and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep trying just to get that information and knowledge out there that all our subscribers deserve, man. And that's what I'm trying to make happen for you. So stay tuned for all that good stuff, man. Best thing you can do, share this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button to all our junkies out there.
Stay fly and ring the bell.